going on, everybody? We're back with some more Marvel Snap, and today we have another location breakdown. We had another hot location come out. I actually think I have to shuffle these around because of my recording dates, so you're probably going to get the last one late and this one today. But we have a new one. It's called the Triskelion. What this location does is it fills each player's hand with random cards. And you may think, all right, this is just kind of random. How do I play into that? But there are some ways that you can play into this. So the first thing that you should keep in mind is, and it's kind of similar to some of the stuff that we talked about with Nick Fury kind of synergies. There's a lot of overlap there. So with the Triskelion, there's two main cards that you can think of playing, and that is Devil Dinosaur and Ronan the Accuser. And the reason why you should consider both of them is pretty obvious. Devil Dinosaur, Triskelion will fill up your hand, so Devil Dinosaur will get pretty high power ceiling there. And then Ronan the Accuser, you can usually assume that in general your opponent's not going to be able to dump their whole hand, so Ronan will be powered up as well. You could also tack on a Mystique with the two of those and have three cards that care about having filled hands, and then whenever the Triskelion pops up, you've got three cards that are pretty much not fully guaranteed, but close to guaranteed to be very buffed up. Another card you can consider, although this one's a little bit trickier because it really relies on Triskelion being the third location, is the Collector. And the reason why I say that is unless the first location is the one that gives you +1 energy, you can't play the Collector until turn 2, at which point the first two locations have been revealed. However, if and when Triskelion is the third location, if you get Collector down on 2, your hand getting buffed up or hand getting filled up will then buff Collector by however many cards you draw. So there's some power there. And it's not the worst to play Collector in those decks, because a lot of decks that you want to run Devil Dinosaur in, Collector kind of just fits into. So it's not the worst thing. This is also, I can't remember the name of the card, the Quinjet. The Quinjet's Time to Shine. 1 energy, 2 power. Cards that didn't start in your deck cost 1 less. So this synergizes, again, with Nick Fury, but also with Triskelion. A whole bunch of cards costing 1 less is obviously very nice for you, especially getting these cards out of your hand if you don't want to go the Devil Dinosaur route. Another thing to keep in mind, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily the best thing to do with Triskelion, but just something to keep in mind, is you may want to play a deck that on average has a lower energy cost. And the reason for that is with Triskelion, you cannot control what cards get put into your hand. In my experience, they're not, I mean, obviously it's random, so it's not like you're getting all low cost or low high cost, but there's a lot of situational cards that don't necessarily do anything for you unless you're playing a specific kind of deck. So those are cards you're not going to want to waste energy playing. So they're kind of just dead draws in your hand. So you don't want to get put in a situation where, let's say you drew your 5 and 6 costs from your actual deck, then Triskelion fills up your hand with garbage that you don't want to play, and now you're in a situation where, like, you don't really want to play anything, but you have to play something so that you can actually try to draw from your actual deck. So playing slightly cheaper cards on average means that you can make sure that whatever cards are in your hand, you more than likely can play relatively early so that you can start freeing up more slots to play your actual deck. So that's another thing to keep in mind. In general, playing flexible decks is also great with Triskelion, and this isn't a necessarily one specific thing you can do, but playing a deck that doesn't necessarily have a specific tight game plan or combo, and I know it's not the best thing to do in the meta. The meta's looking at things like Sarah, or, I mean, Sarah's actually a decent card for Triskelion as well. Just reducing the, Sarah's a decent card with any card, because reducing the cost of everything is great. But, you know, Triskelion doesn't necessarily play into Mr. Negative very well, besides maybe a flipped Devil Dinosaur. However, if you're just kind of playing a general, either mid-rangey deck, or let's say like an Angela type deck that just wants to buff up Angela and Bishop, just kind of more generic game plans of like, I'm going to play some decent cards, I'm going to play, try and get as many points on the board as possible and win the game, Triskelion can help you out. And it's kind of like, again, Triskelion and Nick Fury have a lot of parallels in my opinion. Whereas Nick Fury can kind of give you 3 random 6 costs, and they might not be cards you want to run in your deck, but a perfectly pulled Heimdall is game winning. Triskelion can do the same thing for you, where if you have a flexible deck that doesn't need any one particular synergy, getting a handful of random cards means more than likely at least one or two of the random cards that you pull are something that you can get some decent usage out of. Obviously, there's also high roll potential with Triskelion, but it's not really something you can play into or prepare for. You just kind of be ready for that. So yeah, that's all I got for Triskelion. This is more of a not a simple location because there are some things you can do, but it's more of a straightforward location, and I think it has a lot of overlaps with the coverage we had of Nick Fury. So if you want kind of a more detailed breakdown, check out that video as well. Let me know what you guys are doing to take advantage of Triskelion, and how you guys are finding this new location. Do you find it fun, or do you kind of find it as frustrating as some of the other random locations? Do you not like having your hand filled up? Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, that's going to be it for now, guys. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.